Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Claudia's iPad. You're up on our screen, and we can hear your entire conversation. Oh no!
We'll fix that.
So we're going to invite everybody who's joining us virtually to keep yourselves muted until the very end of our worship service. And then I promise we're going to invite you to unmute yourselves and wish Rachael and the Brown family Shabbat Shalom, and you get to tell her Mazel Tov at that time. But I'm also going to remind you before we officially get started, if you're in our online worship today, do us a favor. Keep your video camera off if you're going to do anything that you don't want our congregation to see, because you're up on our screen right now. So we once had somebody do something that they really didn't want us to see during a Mitzvah service because of Zoom. So now we warn everyone before we start. All right, so we're very excited to see everyone who has joined us online. We're very excited to see so many people here to celebrate with Rachael and her family today. I'm going to start with something I don't normally say. How many of you are connected in some way, grew up or were born in or lived in Schenectady, New York? Look at that! Me too! Me too! It's so funny, my mom was from Schenectady, as I think the entire Schenectady clan now knows, and graduated from Linton High School. Who graduated from Linton High School here? Right? I mean, it's crazy. I never imagined in Tempe, Arizona, I'd meet so many Schenectadyans ever in my life. But it's really nice. It's really nice to look into your eyes and know that at least one person here actually knew my mom in high school before she passed, and my aunt as well. So it's kind of like old home week for me here at Temple Emmanuel. But we can talk about Schenectady later. Today we are all about inviting Rachael Brown to help lead us in our Shabbat morning worship. We're super excited that she's going to be participating. This is Greg Lux. He is our cantorial soloist who's going to be helping us during our worship today. And I want to say, if you happen to not be Jewish or you're not from Temple Emmanuel, we invite you to sing and participate with us. There's nothing in our worship that is in any way offensive to any of the major Western religions. And so please do feel free, if you feel comfortable, participating, particularly where you see the English text that's in italics. You'll notice that our worship is actually up on our screens in front of us, but we also have prayer books in front of you. If you are a person of the book who really likes the book, the page numbers where we are will be found in the top left-hand corner of our slides. So you can follow along either using the prayer book in front of you or the screens in front of you. And with our screens, basically everything you need is going to be up there. So if you get lost in the book, you choose to use the book, just look for a page number and you'll catch right back on. All right? So welcome again. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Perfect. We're going to start with what's called a nigun. A nigun is a wordless melody, and it means that everybody can sing lai-lai, right? So please join us as you learn the melody. We're going to start with a nigun just to get us in the spiritual headspace of worshiping together this Shabbat morning.
La
so we read responsibly either on page 287, see it there, or from the screens in front of us. I'll begin. We give thanks to you, O God, for this Shabbat day, which unites us as a community of faith and hope. For this Shabbat, which can lead us to fulfill the best that is in us, we give thanks. For the memories of Shabbat enriched by generations of our people who observed it, and from it drew courage to face hardship and light to banish darkness, we are grateful. We offer thanks for the peace of Shabbat, the day consecrated to family love. And this morning, we are going to have Rachel come forward now and receive her first talit, her first prayer shawl. And presenting her prayer shawl this morning is her sister Julia, who will come up and maybe share some kind words about her sister.
So exactly 6 years ago, I was standing where Rachael is now, being presented the tallis that you see me wearing right now. I'd like to share with you, Rachael, a piece of advice that my winter guard coach would always tell us. Do what you know because what you know is good enough. I've seen and helped you prepare for this day, and you're more than ready. Rachael, wear this tallis with pride as our family and congregation cheers and supports you on not only today, but forever.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu v'tzivayim v'tzivayim.
You get a woman rabbi, you get it.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, with divine wisdom. You have made our bodies, combining veins and arteries and vital organs, into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of the health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei kol basar u'machli la'asur. We continue with the blessing for our souls on page 292. The soul that you have given me, O God, is pure. You created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within you sustain it, and within me you sustain it. So long as I have breath, therefore I will give thanks to you, my God and the God of all ages, source of all beings, loving guide of every human spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, asher beyado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol esad. We continue with the Nisim B'chol Yom, the morning blessings, on pages 293 through 296.
And at the end of each one of these blessings, we have a part 2. We say, Amen. Afterwards, Amen just means I agree. And so we continue with the morning blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nata lasech v'bina lahavkin bin yom u'bein laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamaychim mitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten leya'ef koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'ena utnuma me'afa pai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shiasani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shiasani b'chorin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shiasani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, otzer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, otzer Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Page 297. Adonai, our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai hamlamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. We continue on page 298 with Eilu Devarim. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world.
I got to.
So if you would please mute yourself, thank you. Everyone keep yourselves muted during the middle of our worship this morning.
They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. We continue with a Chatzi Kaddish, our prayer of transition, on page 312. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Alma divrach eritei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala uv'zman ka'ariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olam le'olam. Yitbarach, Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yipa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaveh v'yihalal shemei l'kudeshach b'richu le'elam min kol bechata v'shirata tushbechata nechemata da'amiram le'alma v'imru. Amen. We rise in body or spirit for the call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 313.
La
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei hoshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Page 314. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give this morning, my Torah. My special human gift is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot. We continue with our statement of belief, the Shema, on page 318. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, As you are seated, we continue chanting Ve'ahavta on page 319. Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzvacha hayom olevalecha v'shinatam levalecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al-yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'einecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha le'man tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'biyot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue on page 321. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We join together on page 322 as we celebrate going from slavery to freedom with Michal Mocha. invite you to rise in body or spirit as we begin chanting the tefillah, also known as the Amidah, beginning on page 323. Adonai, Sifata Tifta Uvia Gita Ilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
324.
Baruch atah Adonai, Elohei ve'Elohim v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Yom, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaHol, V'Zofer Chasei Avot V'Imachot, V'Mevi Gilgal Le'nei Lehem, L'man Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer, Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, V'atah Le'Hoshia, Mashib HaRuach, U'Mori HaGashem, Mechayeh Hayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Geburot, U'Midol Mehelach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman Atah L'Hayyot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
326.
Nekatesh Shimcha Ba'olam, Yeshvim Shemati Shimo, Tovish Memaro, Tatatuv Aliyad V'Viecha, V'Kara Zer Zer V'Amar, Kadosh Kadosh Kadosh, Adonai Tzevaot, Elok Kol Haaretz, מצחקים כדרך כמחיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו יחוש לעולם ועולם. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated as we continue singing the Sham Rose, the commandment to observe Shabbat, on page 328. Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 330. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael utfilatam b'ahava tikabel uthi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties, and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, shi'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 331.
Hi, David Brown. Everybody can hear you in our worship. We'd love for you to mute yourself.
Hi, what can you do?
It's Zoom. Thanks, David. We are in our prayer of Thanksgiving, and we give thanks to all of the people who are online on Zoom for muting themselves.
Modim anach nulach, sha'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, la'olam va'ed. Sir chayenu, magen yeshenu, atah hu l'dor v'dor. Page 332.
So as Rachel begins reading this beautiful English interpretive version of our prayer of Thanksgiving, we have a part in this prayer. And so each of us is going to recite the words, Modim anach nulach, which means we give thanks to you at the end of each of the English readings. So let's practice one time. Repeat after me. Modim. Anachnu lach. You are great Hebrew scholars now.
For expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. We continue with our morning prayer for peace, Sim Shalom, on page 334.
Shalom.
take a few moments for silent prayer and meditation, using the words on pages 335 through page 337 to guide us.
And so we have now reached what some consider to be the highlight of our worship service this morning, and that is Seder Kriyat HaTorah, or the service for reading from the Torah. This is the time when Rachael will officially become a Bat Mitzvah, a daughter of the commandments. And so we are going to invite some very special people to come forward to help us by opening the ark doors, and I'll let you know when. And that, let's see, to open the ark doors, we have Nate Brown and Addison Sachi. They're going to come forward and open the ark doors. I'll let you know exactly when. And we also have, for passing the Torah from generation to generation, no, I mean, come on up now. Come up, but I'll let you know when to actually open the doors. And also Jacob Brown and Moses Walner. All right, we've got two more coming. All right. I'll let you know when. Okay. And then also for passing the Torah from generation to generation, we have Lowell and Denise, as well as Julia, who we're so proud. We have Marshall and Pam family, Bart and Michelle Brown, and Wendy Walner to come up to pass the Torah from generation to generation. You guys are going to be kind of like, Rachel's going to come up here. Yeah. The family, and some more Browns and a Walner. Come on up. So if you would actually come together, would you like to? There we go. There's a lot of choreography involved in Judaism. We are going to be opening the ark doors. We're going to find that on page 362 as the Torah is taken out of the ark. Whenever the Torah rises, so do we. And so we're going to begin with Ein Kamocha on page 362.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein k'ma'asecha, v'alechutecha malachut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'hador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai maloch, le'olam avod. Adonai ozni amo yitain, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom, v'harachamim, cheti v'averetz lonecha, et Tzion, tibenech omot Yerushalayim, tibenech omot Yerushalayim.
Page 364, Ki Mitzion, taking the Torah from the ark.
Ki Mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion tetzei Torah, U'devar Adonai meYerushalayim.
Across the bottom of page 365 to 364, we're taught, in this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. And now I'm going to walk down, we're going to pass the Torah from there. If you keep it vertical, it's easier. The top of page 366, Baruch Shenatan.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Hashem.
We continue with Lecha Adonai, and we're going to ask the ark doors to be closed. Lecha Adonai.
Adonai HaGibor, 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 HaNetzach v'Ha'or, Ki kol hashamayim v'ha'aretz, Ki kol hashamayim v'ha'aretz. Adonai HaMelech, David HaSeir.
You may be seated. You may be seated. Not quite sure why we have a vision of beautiful, beautiful houses on our screen, because we are currently we're viewing Rosemary Brown's screen for some reason. Is Rosemary related to you? Yes, Aunt Rosemary. Rosemary, we're going to ask you to stop sharing your screen, okay? It's a beautiful picture. I got it for you. There, now we're on somebody else's email. But at least it's Rachel. You got it right there with your invitation. That's good. Let's try again. Let's see who else we can get rid of. All right. There we go. All right, Rachel. Technology's fun. Technology's fun, right? Yeah, it's really fun. There we go. Okay. So in rabbinical school, just so you know, they did not teach us how important Zoom was going to be. back in 2008. They just did not do that. All right, here we go. You ready? Okay, so today we are going to be calling up some very special people for the honor of saying the blessing before and after reading from the Torah. We're also going to be hearing, if you are following along in a Torah or Torah commentary, Rachael is going to be reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 22. She starts at verse 1. Chapter 22, verse 1. And so, for the first Aliyah, the first set of blessers, we're calling up Lewis Green and Nanette Sable. And so we say, Ya'andu, Aviezer ben Menachem Mendel, ben Ariezer, ben Nachasera, ben Nachman Le'alea the Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'am v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. If you will hold that right there, nice and hot.
Amen. Vayahi achar hadvarim ha'ele v'ha'elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer kachna et pincha et yehidcha asher ahavta et yitcha velech lecha el eretz hamaria v'ha'alehu sham le'olah al achad haharim asher omar elecha vayashkem Avraham baboker vayachavosh et hamarot vayikach et shnei ne'arot ito ve'et Yitzchak beno vayvakach atzei olah vayakam vayelech el hamakam asher amar lo ha'elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Thank you very much. We're going to invite you to return to your seats as we continue with the second Aliyah today. Our second Aliyah is Lowell and Denise and Julia. They're coming up. And so we say, Ya'amdu, Aviezer ben Ruvain, ben Nashi, ben Zvorah bat Avraham, Sarah, ben Nashi bat Aviezer, ben Devorah, le'aliyah the Torah. Baruch et Adonai Hamborach, Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'chanatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Vayom hashlishi vayisa Avraham einav vayar et hamakam merachel vayomer Avraham el ne'arav shevu lechem po im hachamor va'ani v'hana'ar ne'elcha ad ko v'nishtecha v'nashuva alhechem ויקח אברהם את עצי העולם, וישם על יצחק בנו, ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת, וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And you get to stay up here when it becomes Rachel's turn to say the blessing before and after. So a couple of things I want you to know. So, Rachel is about to chant the following verses. I'm going to give you a little translation for those of you who don't have the translation in front of you. Her first two aliyahs were, after these things, God tested Abraham, saying to him, Abraham, and he said, here I am, Hineni. God said, take your son, your only one, the one you love, Isaac, and go forth to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I will show you. Abraham rose early, saddled his donkey, chopped wood for the burnt offering, took Isaac, his son, and his two lads, and set out for the place that God had spoken of to him. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Abraham said to his servant lads, stay here with the donkey, the lad and I will go yonder. We will worship and return to you. Abraham then took wood for the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son. In his own hand he held the firestone and the knife, and the two of them went together. And so now these are the verses that Rachel is about to read. Isaac then said to Abraham's father, Father, he answered, here I am, Hineni, my son. And Isaac said, here is the firestone and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham replied, God will see to the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the two of them went on together. They came to the place that God had shown him. There Abraham built the altar and arranged the wood and bound Isaac his son and laid him upon the altar, upon the wood. Abraham now reached out and took the knife to slay his son. So, an interesting Torah portion, which you are going to teach us about in a few minutes after you finish reading from the Torah. Rachel is going to say the blessing before. She's going to read those last verses that I just translated for you, and then she's going to say the blessing after. And that is going to be, when she finishes, we're going to say Amen, and then we get to shout Mazel Tov to her, because technically that's when you become a bat mitzvah according to the ritual tradition. We don't tell our children that they automatically become bar and bat mitzvah the day they turn 13, because it might, I don't know, preclude some kids from actually coming and leading worship. Do you think that? Yeah, it won't happen. Today, this Torah that Rachel is reading from is from the former Czech Republic, and we had a conversation about what it meant for this Torah to be from a community that was so deeply impacted by the Holocaust, and what it means for you to be a child of people that think this is so important that you do actually learn how to become a leader in our community. And so, no pressure. You ready? You're going to be great. Blessing before.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham aviv, vayomer avi, vayomer hineni beni, vayomer hine ha'esh v'ha'etzim v'ayeh haseh la'olam. Vayomer Avraham Elohim yelo haseh la'olam beni, vayelchu shnehem yachdav. vayavo'u el hamakam asher amar ha'Elohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach vaya'aro et ha'etzim vaya'akov et Yitzchak beno vayisem oto al hamizbeach mimal ha'etzim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now we wish you a hearty Mazel Tov. This would be the time for hugs and kisses if you want. Hey, your sister wants to. And I think your dad might want to too. Best part. By the way, I do want to say that Julia's yacht is what Rachel used, right? This is Julia's yacht that you used. So talk about from generation to generation as she read from the Torah so beautifully today. Now, we are going to invite Ken Saji and Cheryl family and Jill family up for the honor of lifting the Torah and redressing the Torah today. And as I said before, whenever the Torah rises, so do we. So I'm going to invite you to rise. Following along in your prayer book, we're on page 372 for the recitation of the Haftarah blessings. And then Rachel is going to be reading a piece from the Haftarah. It's from the book of 2 Kings. She's going to be reading chapter 4, verse 1 through 7.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem hane emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'eh ha'emet v'atzedek. The wife of one of the prophetic disciples cried out to Elisha, saying, "Your servant, my husband, has died. You know how your servant always revered the Eternal. Now a creditor is coming to take away my 2 sons and to be his slaves." Elisha said to her, "What can I do for you? Tell me what you have in the house." She replied, "Your maidservant has nothing at home but a small oil jar." "Go outside to your neighbors," said Elisha, "and borrow as many empty jars as you can. Then you and your sons shut yourself in and pour oil into all these jars. When one is full, set it aside. She went away and did this, shutting herself and her sons in. They kept bringing jars, and she kept pouring. When these jars were full, she said to one of her sons, "Bring me another jar." But he answered, "There aren't any more." And the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, who said, "Go sell the oil and pay your debt. You and the children can live on what remains." Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ser kol ha'olamim sadik, b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh hamdober u'kayim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat ha'aseh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limincha, l'chavod, ul'tefiret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha, b'fi chol chai, tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Just got to get through that long one, right? So we're going to now turn to page 374 to return the Torah to the ark. And as I say every time, when the Torah rises, so do we. Page 374 in our prayer books. Eitz Chaim Hi.
Eitz Chaim Hi lama chazikim ba v'tol nechecha ve'ushar derachavtecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashua chadesh chadesh yameinu chadesh yameinu
You may be seated. And now it is one of my favorite parts of the Mitzvah ceremonies. And that is, this is now my honor to invite the Bat Mitzvah, Rachael Brown, to celebrate today by sharing words of Torah. She is our teacher for this morning.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
To what extent would you show your loyalty to God? Would you quit your job? Would you give up your wealth? Would you harm your child? My Torah portion, Vayera, has many stories in it, including Abraham showing hospitality to 3 strangers. Then Abraham lies to King Avimelech, saying that his wife Sarah is actually his sister in order to save himself. And then my Torah portion ends with the part I read today. God tested Abraham by telling him to sacrifice Isaac, called his favorite son, since his other son, Ishmael, had already been sent away. One idea that bothered me while studying my Torah portion was that God specifically said Isaac was to become a burnt offering, because children are supposed to trust that their parents won't harm them in any way. In this part of the Torah, Abraham took Isaac and the wood for the burnt offering to the place God told him to go. When they got to the place, Isaac saw the wood and the firestone and asked his father, "Where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham told Isaac that God would provide the lamb for the burnt offering. He then built the altar and arranged the wood and tied up his son Isaac and placed him on the wood on top of the altar.
I'm going to ask whoever has unmuted themselves to please mute yourself. We're in the middle of Rachel's very important teaching. Why don't you start right back here? Nice and loud.
Abraham told Isaac that God would provide the lamb for the burnt offering. He then built the altar and arranged the wood, and tied up his son Isaac and placed him on the wood on top of the altar. I imagine that Isaac felt betrayed at this point. Abraham then reached out and took out the knife to kill Isaac as a sacrifice to God. An angel then called out to Abraham and told him to stop and not kill his son, because God knew then that Abraham feared God. I believe that Isaac was confused at this point. He was about to be killed by his father and was probably closing his eyes because he was afraid. Then his father stopped when he heard the angel. Isaac and Abraham do not talk to each other after this, and Abraham never apologizes to Isaac. I believe that Abraham tried to sacrifice Isaac because of his unmoving faith and trust in God. But I disagree with God's way of testing Abraham. If I was in Abraham's position, I would not follow through with God's command, because Isaac was my only son. And because I have so much faith in God, I think God would forgive me and understand me not wanting to lose my child. Parents are supposed to do everything they can to keep their children safe and love them unconditionally. Unlike how Abraham treated Isaac, I am fortunate that my parents love me unconditionally and always want me to be safe. One of the requirements to become a bat mitzvah at Temple Emmanuel is to complete a mitzvah project, because we are commanded to give back and take care of people in need. For my mitzvah project, I made breakfast bags for those who temporarily reside in the Ronald McDonald House. The families who stay in the Ronald McDonald House have a child in care at Banner Children's Hospital. I chose this project because I wanted to make sure there were healthy breakfasts waiting for them and to relieve their stress during a difficult time. I want to thank you all for celebrating with me and my family today. I want to also thank my mom, my dad, and my sister for supporting me, always being there for me, and helping me with things I struggle with. Finally, thank you to everyone at Temple Emmanuel for helping me accomplish what I've done today and teaching me so much of my Hebrew and Jewish knowledge. Dear God, I am thankful for my friends and family who are caring, fun, and loving. I am so thankful for having food that I enjoy and a roof to protect me from the weather and danger outside. I am also thankful for having a good education so I can educate myself on things I may need in the future. My prayer for the future is that we can all respect each other. Being disrespectful because of the minority you are in will not be as common. And together we say,
Amen.
Shakach.
All right, you get to sit with your family for a few minutes. I think we can all agree that Rachel did a wonderful job leading us today on a very adult, very difficult Torah portion. This Torah portion brings up a lot for kids, for students, for our teens, and I think even for us thinking about what does it mean to be a parent with respect to the responsibility to our children. And Rachel, you know how lucky you are to have these amazing parents and sister to take care of you and to guide you and to help you on your journey. There is something beautiful about choosing to become a parent. There's something spectacular about choosing to become a parent. As an adopted person myself, I can tell you, the bond is, I'll take this the wrong way, but I think adopted parents actually fight harder for their kids in some ways. So I'm just going to name it. These two people would die for you. You know that, right? You have grown so much in the last few months that I have really had a chance to get to know you. I don't know if any of you who are Rachel's family and friends would see her as shy or quiet or reserved, but that was my initial impression. I didn't really think we talked to each other very much, and participating in class was a little difficult. But on this journey, I have seen you absolutely blossom. And I've been able to tell Rachael that there has not been a more precise Torah chanter in my time here at Temple Emmanuel. The precision with which you chanted from the Torah today was spectacular. And so I'm just waiting for the time when I get to invite you to read from the Torah at the High Holy Days this year coming up. Honestly, It was beautiful and precise, and it gave honor to the Torah that you read from today. We did talk about the meaning of that Torah and how special it is. And I do invite our students to read from our 2 Holocaust Torahs or the New Torah, which is actually a little bit easier to read from. And some of our students take the big, heavy, easy to read from Torah, and some of our students choose to read, like you did, from our Holocaust Torah. There is something different about knowing that there's a community that no longer exists. It doesn't have these words of instruction, right? And that you read from them today. I can't wait to see who you become as a grown-up. So you kind of stuck with me for a long time. You have compassion for others that I don't know that everybody sees. You have brilliance going on in here. And I'm not sure everybody sees that either. But most of all, you are a kind person. You are kind. And I hope that you always take this kindness with you wherever you go throughout your life. It will lift you up throughout your life, the way you treat other people. When I see the love between your sister and you, there's love there. I know it. I've seen it. The way you have each other is spectacular. And someday, it's going to be the 2 of you to take care of each other. So always remember those feelings of goodness and kindness that you share between each other in whatever you do, because the world will be lucky to hear from you. And I hope you raise your voice up so that others can hear from you as well. Let people see you shine in everything you do. And with those words, I'm going to invite the Browns to come forward for the blessing of our people. They'll come up before the ark. These words, the priestly benediction, come from Torah, and it is the blessing of our people. Yes, she gets to put her hand on your head too. The blessing of our people.
Yivarech lecha, Adonai, v'yishmerecha.
May God always bless you and protect you, keeping you safe no matter where you go, no matter where you choose to live. May you always feel that safety and security from these people who love you and from God.
Yahweh Adonai,
May the light of God always shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May you always feel lit up with the most amazing enthusiasm for life and making change in this world. May the light of God's face always be lifted up unto you, and may you have long life, happiness, and most of all, a sense of shalom, a sense of wholeness, and a sense of peace throughout your life, always surrounded by these people who help complete you. And together we say,
Amen.
All right, we're going to turn around. We're going to invite you to open the ark doors as we begin the Aleinu. We're going to return turn to our screens. So the words of the Aleinu are found up on our screens. And so we say,
Aleinu l'shameach l'adon ha'kol, l'teit gdula yotzei reshit, shelo asanu kigoyim ha'ratzot, velo osanu k'mishpachot ha'adamah, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol ha'onam, v'anachnu korim mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malkei hamlavim hakadosh baruch.
and as the art doors are closed now, I'm going to invite everyone to be seated. We now turn to Kaddish home in Warner's Cottage, as we remember all those whom we have loved and lost. And so we start first with the members of the Brown family who are not able to be here with us today as we celebrate this beautiful occasion. We think of Raymond and Jeanette Brown, Edwin and Dolores Morozek, Mark Morozek, Merrill Green, Gary Brown, Manuel Green, Stella Green, Isabel Richter, Harry Richter, Ezra Woolner, Louis and Goldie Green, Deanna Gittner, Rudy and Lottie Kazmarek, and Stanley and Francis Morozek. We know that they would all be so incredibly proud of you today, Rachel. We also invite those who are observing a yard site the anniversary of a loved one's passing, or perhaps you're within the first year of mourning following a loved one's passing. Perhaps you're within the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days. If you would like to share the name of a loved one, or perhaps I've incorrectly pronounced one of your loved one's names, if you're in our online community, I invite you to place the name of your loved one in the chat so that we can remember them as well. And if you are in our in-person community, I invite you to share the name of your loved one as my eyes meet yours.
Truly yours. Edward and Josh Kaplan.
I don't see any names submitted online. We take each of these individuals into our hearts as we remember them for all the blessings that they brought to our lives. And we think about those for whom there is no one left to say Kaddish for them. We rise in body or in spirit as we say these words hallowed by the generations. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma tivrach yusei ve'amlik malchutei v'chaye chon u'vyomei chon u'vchaye kol beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shnei d'kudashah b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiram be'elma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all those who are bereaved, both among us and those who are bereaved all around the world. And together we sing.
Amen.
I'm going to invite you to be seated now. Oh, Rosemary, you're back. Rosemary. Let's see what happens here. There we go, we got people again. Okay, so, this is the most fun part. You ready? Come back up, Rachel. Now we get to hear some very nice words from the president of Men of Emmanuel, the men's club here at Temple Emmanuel. His name is Steve Glick, and he's been here today to celebrate with you and your family. Come on up, Steve. And then after that, we'll have some more special words. Aww. Can't forget Julia there. All right.
Hello, Rachel. What's new?
She became a grown-up today.
Well, your attention to your studies in religious schools certainly showed off today. You did a fantastic job. And as we conclude this part of your Jewish journey, we can now start to focus on the next step, which of course is your party.
No, confirmation.
And with your party, of course, comes additional questions that I'm sure have been keeping you up at night. What will my friends be wearing? Will the DJ be any good? And of course, the last one, which is the real one that keeps you up at night. Will my parents embarrass me? Time to get serious. I have several gifts for you, first of which is this Kiddush cup on behalf of the Men of Emmanuel and the Temple Emmanuel Sisterhood. We're very pleased to provide this to you and look forward to you using this for Shabbat for years and years to come. Next, we have this Jewish Study Bible presented to you on behalf of Temple Emmanuel and the greater congregation, Rabbi Olshine. There's inside a little notation from the rabbi, and I'm sure this will be a treasured part of your library for many, many years. Lastly, several certificates. The first one is a certificate from the National Federation of Temple Youth, as well as the East Valley Jewish Community Center, offsetting the cost of a trip to Israel. There's a $250 gift certificate. Very nice. And in addition, on behalf of your teachers and Rabbi Olshine, is your Bas Mitzvah certificate. So if anybody asks, are you sure you had a Bas Mitzvah? Well, we got it in writing. Mazel tov, Rachel.
Thank you.
Delighted to be able to have shared this day with you and your family, who is just beaming out here. It's just a special treasure to be part of this with you. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and leave it right
Here?
here.
Okay.
Yes, they won't forget.
And this I'll
Yes.
give you if I can think of it.
Beautiful. All right, so that part that Steve Glick just talked about your parents embarrassing you. Now, parents never intend to embarrass their children. Never, ever, right? They never intend to embarrass their children, right? Yes, Rabbi. Okay. So it's my honor to invite forward your mom and your dad, who are going to say some beautiful words. And by the way, I saw your dad kind of tearing up earlier. Sometimes it's the dads. So this is for both of you if you need it.
Rachel, it is with great pride and joy that Dad Dad and I stand here this morning, we celebrate you becoming an adult member of our religious community. You've prepared so diligently, learning your Torah portion and leading our congregation in prayer. Today, our congregation is filled with family and friends that share in our joy. And Dad and I are thrilled that so many people that have been part of your life are here today, and many who couldn't be here in person are supporting you online. We would like to thank Rabbi Olsheim, your many wonderful religious school teachers, and Miss Olivia for their knowledge and guidance. Dad, Julia, and I met you for the first time in Guangzhou, China. You were 14 months old. You were placed in my arms, and Dad and Julia were right beside me. I will always remember how carefully you looked into each of our faces, so curious about your new family. Those first few weeks were full of new experiences for you. We learned a lot about each other. We learned that you were not only curious about new things, but full of surprises. Julia and I would bring you to the playroom at the hotel. The first few days you never let on that you knew how to walk. But on the third day, you stood up, and not only did you walk, you began running all around with the most infectious giggle. Those days seem like only yesterday. But today, standing in front of me is such a lovely person that has grown, matured, and blossomed. Temple Emmanuel's preschool gave you a strong foundation for your education. And we are so proud of your hard work in school, always striving for good grades, your love of band and playing the flute. It is so much fun hearing you practice and attending your concerts. And you are an absolute wizard with technology. I think that you may use these skills not only for enjoyment, but also in your profession someday. Rachel, you have a very compassionate heart. This compassionate heart will guide you through happy and difficult times during your life. You think deeply about many topics, and at times astound us with your insight and strong opinions. I love seeing the world through your eyes. Rachel, I pray that God blesses you with a life full of faith, joy, and love. I pray that as you grow and make decisions, you will rely on the strength of your strong character and by consulting God in prayer to guide you with wisdom. I pray that you have a long, full life filled with many blessings. Always remember that you have enriched our family in so many ways. I am so blessed that you are my daughter, and I love you with all my heart.
Rachel, both of your parents are teachers with a combined professional experience that cover many years. And you would think that with that experience, we would know a thing or two. We learned today that isn't necessarily so, for you taught us so much more. During your childhood, you taught us so many things. There was your knowledge of the dinosaurs, the quick command you took with the game of chess, the structure of blood and cells, and the many recipes for slime. Your expertise with Harry Potter, but then slime returned. Not for long, because the violin entered your repertoire, which gave you a starring role in a concert at Gamage Auditorium. Slime briefly returned, but was overshadowed with the creation of over 3,600 TikTok videos with 1 million viewers, 50,000 likes, and 7,000 subscribers. When the video urge subsided, slime tried to return. But the flute entered your world and took a position of greater influence, and I must say, the sounds you created were so accomplished and angelic with that heavenly instrument. Getting us involved with these many subjects over your childhood has taught us much. However, the one topic that eclipsed and dominated them all was your far-reaching Judaic education. After years of involvement with a temple preschool, Wednesday school, Sunday school, countless Shabbat family services, Passover Seder's, High Holy Days rituals, all those Jonah the Whale plays we loved so much. The abundance of Hanukkah candles and the careful study and analysis of countless prayers and songs you taught us today, how you were able to blend it all, synchronize it all together, and deliver with great reverence and grace your proclamation to the world today of your bat mitzvah commandment. Today you taught us lessons about courage and fortitude. Today you taught us about strength of character and how to stand up and deliver. Today you taught us how hard one can carry scholarship, discussion, and study and make it look so easy. Today we learned about your dedication to a Jewish way of life, with the goals to always blend kindness and compassion, to always integrate the blessing of forgiveness, and to always be generous with tzedakah. Today you taught us how a daughter can be a power to impress and inspire, whether it be for your friends, your relatives, your house of worship, your chosen community, or your parents. Today your parents learn that they can still learn from you, and soon tomorrow the rest of the world will learn from you as well. You did an outstanding job today. It was beautiful and impressive in every way. We are so very proud of you. And so in conclusion, here we are today before the congregation and before the covenant of God. We thank you for a great and wonderful bat mitzvah. As parents, we wish you to have a healthy and happy adulthood and have great success to any endeavor you choose. We pray for your continuing involvement as an exceptional young woman of the Jewish faith, as well as an active member of your community and temple, and continue to be an active participant as a citizen of this great country. Today you prove that you are not only a teacher, but a teacher's teacher, and that is in itself an extraordinary lesson for all of us. Rachel, never forget that we love you now and forever and ever. And by the way, slime never had a chance.
I didn't embarrass you too much. Not just the right amount. Well, we are almost at the end. So we are going to say Kiddush and Motzi, and then we're going to invite, after Kiddush and Motzi, we will sing Simon Tov Mazel Tov and Shehachianu, and we are going to then invite all the people online to actually then can unmute themselves and say Mazel Tov to you. All right, so let's go around to the front here for Kiddush and Motzi. That Kiddush cup. Now here at Temple Emmanuel, we end our Borei Pri Hagafen blessing with L'chaim at the end, saying to life. And so please join us as we sing the blessing over the wine. We say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Hagafen. L'chaim. You get to drink that. All right, and here is another one of these little baby challahs that Miss Jessie made just for you. So if you will go ahead and take that. And at the end of our blessing over the bread, when we say thank you, God, for bringing forth bread from the earth, we say B'tei Avon, which sort of means bon appetit or good eating. All right, you ready? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, B'tei Avon. You get to eat a little piece. You get to share that with your family, all 22 people that came from Schenectady. All right, you can share it here. Come back up here. Now the fun part is we are going to say Shehachianu, sing a Shehachianu, and then we'll have Simon Tov Mazel Tov saying, oh, the signs are good for you, and the luck is with you. And So, Shehechianu, this blessing that we say the first time we do something in our lives or the first time we do something in a year. And this is your first bat mitzvah, but you know this is not going to be the last one, right? Because when you turn 83, you can have your second bat mitzvah ceremony. In Judaism, we say that a full life is 70 years, and then we tack on another 13. And so anybody who's approaching 83, let me know, and we'll schedule your second bar bat mitzvah ceremony. So see you back here at 83? Or another rabbi back here at 83? Yes. So yes, Rabbi. Yes. All right. So Shehechianu for your first bat mitzvah ceremony.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh.
And now Simon Tov, Mazel Tov. All right, now everybody is at home. Who is at home? Who has been wanting to press that unmute button? Now's your chance. So go ahead and unmute yourselves and wish Rachel a Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov. Enjoy your day.
All sorts of great people. Do you recognize some of those voices?
You too.
All right, now.
Praise the Lord.
Mazel tov. That was Claudia. All right. All right, so now everybody who's here, everybody wish everybody at home a Shabbat Shalom. All right. There we go. See, you were here. All right, everybody have a wonderful Shabbat afternoon celebrating all of Rachel's accomplishments, celebrating Shabbat. We hope to see you again back at Temple of Emmanuel very soon. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, everybody in person. Wait for your friends. There you go. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.